recorded. Sorry, not recorded. And we're going to go ahead and have Megan start. Just trying to mute everybody. You're not muted. Make sure you're muted. If you want to unmute yourself, Megan, you can. And just a reminder, be muted. I'm going to mute myself. So, okay.
Do you want me to go?
You can go, Megan. We're recording. We're ready to go.
Okay. First of all, I want to let you guys know I'm in our new office space that we have here in the Fox City. So you can see we don't have a ceiling. So if it's like super like echoey or it's not good quality, I apologize. But I'm a stay-at-home mom of 5 boys, and it's summer. So I had to come to the office to be able to do this call where I was not being interrupted by tiny humans. So first of all, I kind of wanted just to introduce myself a little bit to you guys, kind of give you a little bit of my background. I'm super nervous. This is not my thing. I don't do this. I'm very quiet. I like to say I'm a creeper. Allie will ask me to speak on our team calls, and I'm always like, oh, I'm so busy. Sorry, I can't help you. So for me to do this is a little bit out of my comfort zone. It's really out of my comfort zone, but I decided I was gonna break all these barriers down and do it. So I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have 5 boys. My oldest is gonna be 16 and my youngest is gonna be 4 in August. So my life is extremely crazy. Okay, I think somebody is
sorry, Megan, I muted everybody and now okay, sorry, start again. Sorry. Just for a second,
you're fine.
Muted.
Okay, so anyways, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have 5 boys. My oldest is going to be 16 at the end of June, and my youngest is going to be 4 in August. So I left a corporate job 7 years ago where I worked my way up from answering phone calls at customer service to being working alongside people who had their master's and bachelor's degrees. And I worked with the VP of the company that I left. So it was extremely hard for me to do that, but I love it and I wouldn't change it for anything. So I do have like other direct sales or MLM backgrounds. I've dabbled in a few companies before, but the biggest one was I sold for Literal for 4 years. I took a huge leap and was like, I'm just going to do this because I liked the clothes at the time because it made me feel good because I was overweight and had 5 kids, and it was what I needed to make myself feel like I was contributing to the family. So I sold it for 4 years. I was pretty successful. And one day I woke up and realized how much I hated doing it, kind of like you hate your full-time job sometimes. And I left, I closed my doors, and pretty much burned $5,000 worth of inventory. And never looked back. And after that, I was like, I am never, ever doing direct sales ever again. I swore it off. I said, it's not worth it. I made good money, but I also lost a lot of money at the end. So it just wasn't anything I was interested in doing at the time. I had got invited to some parties that Allie was actually doing for a cousin of mine and never ordered anything. Watched Ellie from the sidelines and actually ended up signing up July last year without ever touching or seeing a piece of Zaya in person. So I was like, I'm gonna do this. I started running and working out 2 years ago in June. And I was like, well, worst case scenario, I'm gonna get a discount on some workout clothes that I live in anyways. So long story short, I'm here almost a year later. And apparently I'm a rarity because I've built my business on not doing online parties, which is, I guess, I kind of talk to people about it and I realize how rare it is. just because it is a direct sales company or an MLM. And that's what a lot of people, even outside of Zaya, that's how their businesses thrive. You do parties, and that's how you make your income, and that's how you spread the word about it. And I just haven't found the success in parties. So I've done it completely opposite. And I'm always like, yeah, I just kind of do my thing. And Ellie's like, Megan, it's amazing. And I'm like, I don't know, I just do it. So I did go back and look. Literally so I started in July, I had a launch party, and Ellie helped me run it. And in August, I had 12 parties, and it was one of my bigger months. I sold almost $6,000 that month. And then going on like September, October, November, I had like one party. I had those 12 parties. I spread the word to all these people. And then all of a sudden it was like nobody wanted to have a party. So what I did from the beginning was I grew my VIP group. So my VIP group from day one to today has almost the same number of people in it that when I started. So these are women that joined my group, that wanted to be in my group, that I post about it on my personal page or whatever the case may be, and they asked to join my group. I've never done anything where I'm like, hey, add your friends and you get this or you get that, because I've been added to groups before and I don't want to be in there, so it just doesn't interest me. So the day I started to today, I think I have like 10 new people in my group in the last week, only because I went live on my personal page and kind of said more about my Zaya, which I've never done that either, because I've been posting about it a little bit more. So then I had people that might have not noticed my posts earlier, saw my live, and then they asked to join my group. So my VIP group has like 137 people in it. And yes, like earlier this week before I did that live, I think I had 129 or 127. So those women have been in my group forever. I've never removed people. I've never done a clean out, because I'm going to tell you right now, I have a girl that never, ever, ever purchased from me. And she's been in my group since day one. And she's bought in this week. She's ordered like 2 or 3 times. So you just never know when those people are going to come out and they're actually going to support you. So parties are not my thing. I don't do them. They're a lot of work. I have 5 kids. I have one that they all play sports and baseball and all that stuff. So for me, it's really time consuming. And when I can post during the day, it's not usually convenient for people that are attending the parties either. So there's that. So my best suggestion to everybody, and I have told many people this, like I told Amy, who's going to probably be speaking a little bit as well, what I did in the beginning is what I'm going to tell you guys not to do. So I had a Facebook business page, I had my personal page, I had my VIP group, and I had my Instagram. And I was like posting here and there and there and there and there, and I was posting in all these places, and then I was forgetting. And I wasn't like pouring all into like one specific spot like I should have been. So for me, I realized Instagram, which I don't even know how to use it half the time, is not beneficial for me. I don't get anything from it, but I still post about it, but I don't have a separate page. So it's more like my personal Instagram, and I'll share about Zaya on it. But I just kind of removed myself from the Instagram stream of doing Zaya on there. My Facebook business page never, ever got posted on, so I got rid of that. And then my personal page, well, that's just more my personal, and I try not to post much about my Zaya business on there. I say that now, but now after I went live, I feel like I'm going to I told people I'm not going to apologize for posting about my Zaya business, because it's my job. Like people don't feel bad about posting about their nursing job, or, if they're a physician, or, they work in customer service or whatever. So I shouldn't feel bad about sharing about my Zaya business. But my VIP group has always been my main focus. And I think that is a lot to do with the fact that with LuLaRoe, that's how I sold. We were only allowed to sell in private groups. Like I was not allowed to post about LuLaRoe or my LuLaRoe stuff on my personal page. So VIPs to me have always been like my main focus. So I organically grew that from day one. People who have been in my group only request to be in my group. I've never added anybody to my group. Like I've never like requested them to be added to my group. They ask to be added to my group. So that's huge. You can have 15 people in your group, or you can have 1,500 people in your group, but you need to have people in there that truly want to be in there, because your numbers aren't going to matter then. And the support won't be there. So that's just kind of how I started with it all. Like I said, I focused strictly on my VIP group, and that's where I poured into it the most. So I also am an overposter, is what I call myself. I post a lot in my group. I post anywhere on a minimum of 5 times, probably up to like 10, 12 times a day, which people have asked me, like, are people annoyed by that? I'm like, well, if they're annoyed, they can just leave my group. They don't have to be in there then. But for me, that's what I have found has worked the best, because I'm consistent and people know, like, oh, Megan's going to post multiple times today. And it's always product reviews, my outfit. I work out every day, or I run. Sometimes I do 2 times a day. How are you sharing with people? Oh, I'll answer that in a second. I don't know how I can go back to these comments. See, this is new to me too. So, so in my VIP group, I'm super consistent, and they know, like, hey, Monday through Friday, Megan's really going to be on here, and she's going to post probably 5 to 10 times a day. And I always share my outfit of the day. I always share what I'm working out in. If I go on a run, I share what I'm wearing then. If I go to the gym after I've ran, I also share what I wear to the gym. I'm super casual because I stay at home and because I have 5 boys. Like, I was like, oh, maybe I should do something with myself tonight. But I was like, no, because this is how you'll always see me, is like in a hat or a headband with no makeup on. So this is true, real Megan right here. So I always like to start off and I post a good morning post, which seems really like tedious and silly. But I do it every single morning, and it's usually like I get up and I lay in bed and I, collect myself a little bit. And while I'm laying in bed, I will seriously post a good morning post in my VIP group. Sometimes I mention about Zaya. Sometimes I don't mention about Zaya, but it's always something there that's there immediately in the morning. And I'll post a pretty picture or, a Zaya picture. It doesn't always have to be about Zaya. And that's what I think I have learned the most, or I do the most, is I don't just share about Zaya. I'm sharing about everything. So like I said, I'll do my good morning post. I do one of my outfit of the day. I always do like random like outfit inspirations too. Like if I see some on the Zaya groups or Instagram, or one of my reps has a pretty cool one, I always steal it from them, or they steal something from me. But then I always post about what I'm doing that day too. So it's not always like I said, it's not always about Zaya. If I go on a walk with the boys, or we're at the baseball diamonds, and if I have Zaya on, it's always usually a bra, and it might not be visible, but I'm still going to tell people about it. So I find that super helpful too. And then I always do a good night post, which is really weird, but I found it really helps. Like, hey guys, I'm signing off. It's 9:30 at night. If you have any questions or you send me messages and I don't respond until tomorrow, this is why, and I do monthly challenges. So this is different. I feel like this is the other thing. This is different. I do monthly challenges or giveaways, but I don't do giveaways all the time. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, don't discount our product because it doesn't need to be discounted. If I am really pushing for something, you may see, I'll be like, ooh, free shipping, or, like it's the end of the month and I'm close to something, or like right now, we're super close to the next level in my Hostess benefits. And I did a giveaway for something, a half price item. And I decided, oh, well, shoot, since we're so close, I want somebody else to get a half price item. So then I'll push it a little bit more in the group. Like, I kind of push the, I don't know, the products a little bit more, or I'll post more about them. And I'm honest with people, like, hey, we're $82 away from, the other level, because customers like that. They like, oh, I'm helping, or, oh, we're so close. And if I do this, then able to help and I could maybe win, you know? So my monthly giveaways are always different. Sometimes they're Zaya, sometimes they're not Zaya, which is awesome too, because people love all sorts of things. But I don't usually do giveaways like throughout the week or weekly, unless it's like, I think one month I had a really big month and I was like, I'm going to spoil you guys every week. I'm going to do a different giveaway. But like this month, I actually let my customers decide what they wanted to do for a giveaway. So they did a bunch of ideas. They threw them out to me and I picked one. And then that's what we're doing for June. So June is actually a wall sit challenge. And then at the end of the month, I haven't decided if I'm going to do like whoever has the most points or if I'm going to do a random name generator thing. Because sometimes I like doing the people who really participate the most. I feel like then they kind of deserve the giveaway. So I've been tossing it up a little bit. But yeah, we're doing the wall sit challenge. At the end of the month, someone's going to get a free pair of no-show socks, a foam roller, and a Starbucks gift card. So it's not all Zaya, and that makes a difference too, because people love anything that is Zaya, but they also love anything to go along with Zaya that's not just Zaya related. So, and I do mystery hostess events, and those are huge for me. They're probably my biggest thing that goes amazing with my customers. So they don't want to have parties, but they will order like crazy when I do a mystery hostess event. Like the fact that they may be able to like win all those hostess rewards without bothering their friends or having their friends be invited to like a private event on Facebook or whatever. It just works really well for my group. They love it. I did one, I think last month it was, and I was shocked. I think I closed out two $1,000 links, and then we had like a week left, and I was like, oh, we'll just see, you know, what we get or whatever. And the last week of that month, I think we hit the $600 level in like 5 days, and I was like, so my group loves them. But not every group does, but they do. They love the hostess rewards and they like the challenges. So I do what works for them. You get to know your VIP group. I'm very like intimate with mine. If I'm sick, I share it. My dryer broke and I shared about that kind of stuff. So they know my life. And because of that, I think they participate more in the group too. So the mystery hostess event is literally like, it's just a link that I leave up. Like you leave your VIP link up, or most people do. I leave my VIP, like I leave this mystery link up, and when it hits a certain like level, then either I'm like, okay, we're not going to order, if it's not the end of the month, okay, we're not going to order from that link anymore. Here's a new one. So when this happened, when we had like, we hit the $1,000, I was like, okay, stop, we're not ordering from that link anymore. And you can unshow it from your site so it doesn't show up. And I just created a new one. So it's essentially like a month-long party, but it's in your VIP group. So when new products come out, or, you know, I just, like I said, I highlight stuff all the time because it's Father's Day. I've been sharing a lot of the men's items. I like to share my favorite things, like, and resharing the same stuff is totally fine because people don't always see everything either. So, but then when you're ready to close that out, what I do is, like, people get so many points for, I'm going to answer that right now, Carrie. People get so many points for doing so many things. Like, oh, if you place an order from this amount to this dollar, then you can be like, oh, you're going to have 2 entries or 3 entries. Or if you, you know, if you post a picture of yourself in my group in Zaya, here's 5 bonus points, like that kind of stuff. You just kind of make the rules on how you want to do it. And then the mystery hostess ones are total, like I've always just done like a random name, like, oh, here it is. This is my winner. But last month I did the like highest points, which I had like these 2 girls that were like neck and neck, and they knew it. And I had a girl that legit placed an order at 11:58 on the last night for like $150. So she knew she'd pull up ahead, and she won. And she won a solid pair of light and tight leggings and a solid bomber bra. And to her, she was like on cloud 9. Like, she was so excited. She like messaged me, I was sleeping, but she messaged me and said, did I win? Did my order go through? So if you get your people excited about it and you do these challenges, and you participate with them. That's the thing, this wall sit challenge, I'm participating in it with them. I don't get anything out of it, but I'm doing it with them, and I'm sharing my pictures every day. And just reminding them every day of the challenge. Sometimes I remind people multiple times, because like I said, I have 100 and so many people in my group. And if you look, some of my posts, 32 people have only seen it. So people are missing things here and there. So it pays to reshare and remind people. Yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I had a really, really hard time sitting down and trying to tell you guys like how I was going to explain this. Because like I said to Ellie, I don't know, I just do it. It's just what I do.
It's awesome what you're doing.
I'm pretty consistent. Like, I know Kayla's going to speak, and she is like, excuse me, but she's badass, because she had like $8,500 one month. And I am not a huge sales number person like that, but I'm super, super consistent. So, I always, like, when I first started, I was like, oh yeah, my goal is to do $1,500. Well, now because I have a team, I have like 18 girls underneath me. And I'm at the director level. My goal is now to do $2,500. And that may seem like this to some people, but to me, it's like this, because sometimes it's hard. Like, sometimes I start the month off and I'm like, how am I ever going to reach that $2,500? But I somehow always get there. So I have been super consistent. I have done a minimum of $2,200 up to $6,000. I have had 1 month where I didn't even hit 1,000, and that was December. That was December, and it was a really, really hard month for me. I'm not gonna lie. I had $737 in sales, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, what did I do wrong? But if I look back at my numbers, November was really big for me, and if I look back at my December stuff, I had $485 worth of returns that processed in December. They were returns, not exchanges. So I like reassure myself, you didn't do that bad that month, Megan. So, but I am very consistent. I have really great months where I've almost hit 6,000. But I am very, very consistent between 2,200 to like close to 3,000 every single month on 0 parties. So I think my last true party, I had one, and it was, when was it? I have my really good friend and teammate in here because she signed up, March, and it was her party. But otherwise, I mean, I might have had one like here and there sprinkled in, but they're usually like super small $200 parties, and I just don't do them anymore. I don't even ask people about them anymore. So that's all I got. You guys I know there's other girls that are going to speak. They probably have totally different input, and you can shoot questions later.
Megan, how did you add people to your VIP group did you just post about it and then they added themselves?
Yeah, I did, because in my area, like Leah Stragi's in our area, but I didn't even know her, and which is super funny because her and I live like 15 minutes apart, and I never heard of Zaya. And our houses are literally like 20 minutes apart, and my high schooler can like jump to her backyard from his like baseball field. But I didn't even know that she was around the area here. So I literally just shared about it in like on my personal page that I like joined this new activewear company, and if you were interested to join my like VIP group. So I'm always like, it's a pressure-free group. It's not just about selling Zaya. Like, we do challenges in there. I do giveaways in there. So that's just kind of how it all started. I really honestly, after parties, I also found it didn't benefit my group. Like, I didn't have like a huge spike in numbers because a lot of those people were already in my group. So I didn't feel like, oh, well, these people are already in my group. I'm not exposing a ton of new people. So, I'm sharing on Instagram now and more on my personal Facebook, and I've seen it grow a little bit. But for now, I'm maintaining, and I'm happy with that. So if I can maintain where I am, and kind of slowly grow it from now on, I'm good. Because I would rather have the consistency and have those people be long-term customers than have the short-term part of it. So.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Megan. Okay, let's jump to Kayla, and she'll talk about her parties or her VIP group. Sorry.
Okay, I'm super nervous. I have a similar story to Megan. I also did LuLaRoe, only for about a year when it was really hot and bumping. I was also super successful. I probably brought in, I profited, I think 8,000 was my most a month with LuLaRoe. I went on their cruise. I loved it. Woke up one day, was going through some personal stuff and just decided I'm done and got out of it. Never wanted to touch direct sales again. I have 3 boys. They're all young, twins being 4, and I have a 1-year-old. And life is just busy. My husband's never home. He works up to 80 hours a week, usually out of town. So it's just all on me all the time. And I went through a bit of a depression starting like last year. And I was super overweight and just really unhappy with life and myself. So I joined the gym and I've been going consistently since January. And I'm down 35 pounds and just way happier with life. My sponsor showed up at my gym and I go to Burn Boot Camp. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but I love it. And she showed up there and did a pop-up, and I wasn't able to meet her in person, but I ended up messaging her after and just asking her what the scoop was. I was just going to order a pair of leggings and call it a day, but I ended up signing up instead. I talked it over with my husband, and he's like, well, you've done it all before. I mean, if this is what you want to do, let's go for it. If not, that's cool too. And I really wasn't expecting much out of it. I wasn't expecting to get in and, you know, do crazy things. I just wanted to sell a couple pairs of leggings and have fun doing it and enjoy the rep discount because I wear the clothes now every day. So I started in March of this year, and my first month I did 5,400, and April and May I did between 84 and 8,500 both months. I did have 5 parties in March, including my launch. So that brought people into my group. In April, I was just like, I had a couple parties, but they weren't really that successful. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then for May, I only had 1 pop-up at Burn and 1 online, I think. And it wasn't anything crazy. So everything comes from my VIP. And I do things different than Megan. I do big giveaways because I feel like if my customers have an incentive to buy, then they're going to support me and they're going to want to win. So, for example, last month I was trying to hit senior director. I have 14 girls under me, and so I had to hit 20,000 in group sales. So I told my group that if we hit, I don't even know, it was like the last day, I had to do like 2,300 in sales, something crazy. And I was like, oh, I was doubting myself. I'm like, this isn't going to happen. I have this last day to go. And I told my group, I'm like, if we hit this number, I'm giving away 15 items free. Your choice, you pick it. Because I had 6 parties to close out at 1,000. So I use my rewards for my giveaway. So none of that is coming out of my pocket. It's coming straight from Zaya, going right to my customers. So I usually, at the end of each month, I think of what I'm going to do for the next month, what my big goal is. I always have a big goal in mind. So for June, my big goal is 10,000 in sales. Is that going to happen? I have no idea. But so I made up this big giveaway with the Zaya backpack. And every 10 orders, I'm going to add something in. And it's not all Zaya. I'm thinking of like Maven thread headbands, hydro jugs, leggings, tank tops, a bra, a hat, the socks, and different items that all correlate with fitness into this bag if we hit so much in sales. I have 2 pop-ups booked for the month, both online, and I have a big open house. So those are the only parties that will contribute to my sales. But I think my VIP is so involved. It's small. I think I have 200 members. But I try to be relatable. I post a lot about my fitness journey and my weight loss and what I've gone through to get to this point in where I'm at. I talk about my kids a lot, and just real life, basically. I post my outfit of the day every single day. I post videos from Burn, and I'm just kind of letting them get to know me, and I want to know about them, so sometimes I have them post what they're doing that day, and it just really helps them relate to you as a person and not just someone that is trying to sell you something all the time. You need to know who your audience is. I have a lot of Burn sisters in my group and a lot of moms, so I usually know that they're gonna react well to the things that I'm posting about my family and my fitness. You want to get your loyal customer base. Right now I have about 60 loyal repeat customers just from my VIP alone that shop with me from month to month. But I mean, I'm still starting. I just signed in March, so I'm hoping I can just go up from here. And I just feel like if you treat your VIP, they're going to keep shopping with you because there's incentive there. I love doing giveaways because I like winning giveaways. And right now I just got all those 15 items. I took a picture of it. I posted it in my group. Hey, here's all these 15 items that everyone's winning between leggings, the hustle shorts, the namaste top. Like mostly everyone's going to get leggings and joggers and stuff because if I won something for free, I'm going to go for something that's a little more pricey. So I don't know. I just think you have to have fun with your VIP and don't think like you just have to be like sell, because that's just not how it's going to work. So I don't know. I just have fun. I'm myself in there. I just went live like this. I've been running around with my kids all day. It's hot. My husband's gone for a week. So I was just keeping my fingers crossed, honestly, that my kids stay in bed and while I do this. But yeah, if you guys have any more questions, we'll answer later. But I think that's all I have to say. I was trying to keep it short and sweet for everyone.
That was awesome, Kayla. Thank you. Could you maybe post do you have like a graphic of the giveaway thing with the Zaya bag that you're doing?
Yeah, I do. I'm calling it my June Summer Explosion. And I have like a couple different pictures, but yeah, I can post it in the group after.
That'd be awesome. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to have Melissa Hammerly go next. Thank you, Kayla. That was awesome. And she's going to talk about how she does VIP groups. So
I'm dying because my husband is having a hard time with my children and he is literally over here going like this that I'm next. So that's exciting for him, I'm sure.
Good morning, Mary.
Oh my God. Okay, so I'm Melissa, for those of you who don't know, which is probably a lot. I started Zaya last August, and my goodness, has it been quite the whirlwind of an adventure, I will say. I was the person who swore I would never, ever, 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 ever. Did I make it clear that I said ever do direct sales? Because I'm not going to annoy anybody. I don't want to be another person selling something. Nothing you can offer me to put on my face or ingest in my body or to throw out into the world like freaking confetti is good enough for me to go tell someone about it. Like, it's just not going to happen. And here I am, right? I'm a senior director with Zaya, which is also bizarre because now I'm one of those people that's like, did you know? And I've really just surrounded myself by the most incredible people I've ever met in my entire life. So what I want to tell all of you that's kind of been touched on a couple of times, I've heard this word, and it's literally, this is how professional I am. These are my notes of things to tell you. It's on the back of my bank statement, so that's exciting. I'm sure my husband will appreciate that later. But I have this word up here, highlighted, written really big, and if you can't read it, because it's like doctor's writing, it says community, and it's underlined like 4,000 times, because number one, the biggest thing that I can encourage you to do if you are not going to do parties is to build a community. It has to be safe. It has to be kind. It has to be full of vulnerability and being brave. And it has to be you. Your community is a place that you want to be. It's your place to speak openly and freely. It's your place to encourage and uplift and to really change someone else's life. And I'm a prime example of never say never, I guess, because here I am, right? I swore I would never do this, and here I am doing it. But what the most important thing about my community is that I share my truth. I came from a really dark place before I entered into Zaya. The snapshot version of that is that I lost 85 pounds, and I was in a really dark corner in my life. I was suffering really intensely from postpartum depression. I was very unhappy with myself. And really there was a point in my life where I thought, this just isn't worth it. Like, there's two options. I either die or I hurt myself, because I can't live like this anymore. And Zaya kind of came into that at the end part of that, when I started to have lost a lot of that weight, and I needed to dress it. People don't believe me, but I have this lop of skin in my tummy area. I have 3 children who are 6, almost 5, and almost 2. I've had the babies. I've done the things. I have the stretch marks. I have it all. And then on top of that, you add things that just don't, go back the way that they're supposed to. And so I needed something to make me feel really good about myself, and insert Zaya. And Zaya was like this little cherry on top of this really dark journey that started from a really dark place that came to a really light place. And it's not always easy. I have hard days just like anybody else. I get frustrated just like anybody else. But what I have done in my VIP group is I have created a community. One of the things that Megan touched on is how much she posts, and I love Megan's like the free spirit. She's like, y'all are going to eat it. You're going to eat all of the things that I have to give you. I have a 2-to-1 ratio in my group for my own personal rule. For every 2 personal posts, I get 1 Zaya post. What I feel that does is it creates a place that does not make it feel as though I am just trying to sell you something, which is so important. If you don't want to have parties, great. I don't want to have them either. Truthfully, I don't get much out of them. Much like Megan, when I first started this, I was like, oh, this is what you do. You have to have all the parties, right? You have to have all the people. That's how you're going to find the people. You have to have the parties. Well, I did in the month of, maybe like October, I did 13 parties, 13. And I was so worn out from it. And I had a great month, right? I've sold anywhere from, the minimum I've ever sold, I think, was $1,000. And then in December was my biggest month, and I sold almost $6,000. So I really crammed it down people's throats, and I had all these parties, and I was so stressed out about these parties. Like, it was giving me so much anxiety because 1, things were out of stock, or 2, they wanted to exchange because they didn't like their size and then it was out. Or 3, they saw something on Instagram or Pinterest from 4,000 years ago. And I'm like, sorry, ladies, that's what we like to call a unicorn around here, and good luck to you, right? But then I was so stressed out because I didn't want them to go somewhere else, that I'm here shelling out all of my own money in the out of stock page, trying to track the stuff down for people. And it was the amount of stress that was causing me was giving me a lot of anxiety. And I had just gotten off all my anti-anxiety medication, y'all. Couldn't handle it, and there wasn't enough Xanax left in the bottle. So I just decided that this couldn't be how I was going to do this. And so I thought, let me focus on the women who have bought from me, and let me focus on them bringing their people to me. So I do that in a couple of ways. 1, the 2-to-1 ratio. For every 1 Zaya post, you must post 2 personal things. Do I always follow this rule? No, because I'm a rule breaker. But what I do make sure that I do is make sure that my community knows that I'm not just trying to sell them leggings. I have hashtagged and spread like sprinkled fairy dust, that change your leggings, change your life. is the thing that I hashtag every single time. It's actually the name of my VIP group. And it is that way because I changed my leggings and I changed my life. So if I can get one other person to change their leggings and change their life too, then we've done it. Downline ish. My internet connection is unstable. I don't know what that means. I think we're back. But I get asked a lot from my own downline about how I get people to join Zaya. I don't get anybody to join Zaya. I've never approached anybody about joining Zaya. I've never cold messaged anybody about joining Zaya. And if that's your cup of tea, if that's your bread and butter, if that's what you're comfortable with, then do it, girl. You do you. But what I do but what I find is when I share about me, it makes it safe for other people to share about them. If you
Hey, Melissa. We have lost you. I'm not
to my own advantage.
We lost you for a little bit. So can you repeat like the last minute or so?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
What was the last thing I said?
It was talking about you got to come from a place of vulnerability.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you've got to be willing to share yourself. You've got to be willing to be brave and put yourself out there, because if I'm the subject matter expert on me. I like talking about me. I am like, girl, we ain't got enough time to talk about me. And if you think about yourself in that way, in that version of this idea that you are the creme de la creme of you, sharing that becomes really freaking easy because it's you. And not only does that become easy, then other women are going to want to feel the way that you feel. Other women are going to be like, yeah, I'm pretty great too. And let me tell you why. Okay. There's not enough time in this day for me to talk about me. And guess what? My group, my community, my safe place that I have created is a safe spot for me to talk about all about me. Right. But that's where that 2-to-1 ratio comes in. And with that, I promise you, if you are vulnerable and you share why you're doing this and you post pictures of yourself, all of a sudden other people are going to want to do that too. They want the juju. They want the Zaya magic. They want to be sprinkled with whatever it is that you're sprinkling upon yourself, and they want to feel it, okay? But you have to be willing to do it first. You have to be willing to create that community. You have to be willing to say, these are my dark secrets, and like now we're blood sisters, and now we're like secret legging sisters, and I'm going to tell you all the dirty things, and I'm going to make fun of my kids and say bad things about my husband in here. Then all of a sudden people are like, all right, girl, I see you. Oh, and now your outfit's cute too. So I host parties, right? And I'm selfish, and I'm like, give me all the rewards. I'm the hostess of my parties, and I do just what Megan does, and I filter all of those orders through there. I do the giveaways. I do all of the things. One of the things that my group asks me a lot, or my downline, and I think I don't know if you caught this part, but I get asked a lot about how I get people to join. And I pretty consistently per month have anywhere between 3 and I think my max was 8, maybe 9. I don't know, 3 and 9 people a month who join my Zaya team. Where I focus is I call those my dark horses, because 70% of my team are people that never bought anything from me and are people who never one time, not a single moment, shared anything in my page, asked any questions, none of it. And I feel that they were just watching. And it's okay if you hop on a live video and nobody's there. It's okay if you post something and nobody responds, because those people are watching. They are paying attention. I promise you. I promise. And just like Megan said, it doesn't matter if you have 12 people in your group or I have, 800 people in my group. they're paying attention, and people that you don't know are paying attention. And so you have to be consistent. That's my next C word. My first one was community. My next word is consistency. One of the things that we talk about a lot on my team with my downline is consistency, being consistent. If you come to me and tell me, well, I posted one time and nobody posted anything back. Good job, girl. I'm proud of you for figuring out how social media works. But next, we're going to do it every day. We're going to post every single day. I don't care if you feel ignored. I don't care if you feel that nobody cares, because you never know who's listening. But part of posting is being vulnerable. Part of posting is being brave. Part of posting is putting yourself in the clothes, getting in front of a mirror, and taking a mirror selfie of you in a bra. Okay? Like, who thought that this would be my life? But it's totally my life, and I'm fine with it. You have to be willing to put yourself in the product and get in front of the mirror. You have to. The models on Zaya.com, myzaya.com/Melissa Hammerling, in case any of you need some Zaya, are beautiful. And see, and you just throw it in there, right? Real casual. They're beautiful, right? But not every body shape and size is represented all the time in our products. The biggest thing for me, the biggest game changer in my business, once I decided that I'm just like, the party's giving me so much anxiety, right? Not enough Xanax. I decided that this isn't a company that you have to buy inventory, right? But this is a company where I'm a walking marketing advertisement, and I want the clothes anyway. So why not invest in myself, invest in my business, and buy the new releases? It's hard. Sometimes there are weeks where I'm like, I don't really want that much, or oh, that's not gonna look very good on me. You want me to put a bathing suit on and then get in front of a mirror like I'm turning red? But I did it, damn it, and you can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it. But what I started to do was buying, if not all of the new releases, because let's be honest, sometimes there's like 13 and I'm not made out of money, but at least one thing from that week's new release. And here's why. My community that I have built, that I spend my 2-to-1 time with, right, wants to see me in the clothes. Not that they don't trust the website, but they trust me. And why do they trust me? Because we've built a community. We've built a safe space where they understand that I'm going to put this on my body. And sometimes I weigh 185 pounds and sometimes I weigh 200 pounds. It kind of depends on how many Reese's I've had that day. But they trust that once I put those clothes on my body, that I'm going to tell them the truth. And I'm going to be honest with them about how it fits and feels on me. And I can provide them a better review. So if you don't want to sell parties, that's fine. Sell yourself. Put yourself in the clothes, get in front of the mirror, and talk to people about how you look and feel in them, because people in your VIP group want to support you. I also found that I was really struggling with parties because people were wanting to do it to sign up, which is great. However, what I find the most, at least in the parties that I have hosted, and just basic, I have a degree in educational psychology, and so sometimes this kind of gets in my brain. People are going to want to support people that they know and love, not necessarily a third party. So when you're hosting a party, you now become the third party, right? Well, if I'm hosting a party and Natalie is my hostess and all of Natalie's family and friends are in there, they want to support and love on Natalie. They don't want to support and love on me. I'm a stranger. They know I'm pocketing something from this, right? But they know that Natalie gets a one-time deal out of this. Natalie gets 4 items, 50% off, and $150. And they're like, what's in it for me? Like, there's no gratification for me in this except that I get to put on Zaya. Ultimately, when your hostess becomes the seller, those people that she loves and that love her want to support her. And I find that sometimes the people that want to join my team who are having parties for that purpose get defeated, and they're like, well, that didn't go very well, and so I'm not going to be successful, and so I don't want to do it. So I kind of avoid parties like the plague, because I'm like, girl, you can do this. You will be successful. Don't let this one party where people are supporting me, not you, deter you from doing this. And so that's also a second reason that I become hesitant, and also a way that I become a little more successful with people joining my team. I don't cold message anybody. I don't do any of that. I genuinely have created a safe community where I talk about things that are hard to talk about because it allows other people to talk about those hard things. This isn't about leggings in my group. All of that's a bonus. And so find what makes your group tick. Go back through your posts and find the posts that are the most interactive, where people are talking to you the most, that they're creating the most, whatever it is. Find whatever those posts are and make more of them. If you're talking about your favorite Disney movie and everyone chimes in, well, talk about it again, girlfriend, because you're going to find the people who are paying attention in your group when you're not talking about Zaya. And I think that's really important. That's where that 2-to-1 ratio comes in. There are all sorts of people in my group that say nothing, and then I post about my kid wiping poop on the wall, and all of a sudden all the dark horses come out and they're like, ha ha ha, my kid did that too, right? Well, now we've created a conversation, and now I know who's actually in my group paying attention. Be present and share yourself is the other thing I have written down. Find your focus in your group. Find what makes your group tick. Find the people, Parker, go. Find the people that are, you're about to get a Parker show here in a second. Find what your focus is in your group. Are you talking about being a mom? Are you talking about, I don't know, the car line pickup? Are you talking about how much your husband drives you crazy because he's out of town all the time? These aren't personal problems that I'm projecting. It's fine. Find what makes your group tick. Find your focus. Okay. So share yourself and be present. Don't tell me that you just posted once a week and no one posted back. You have to post multiple times a day. That's how Facebook algorithms work. Facebook is a mean girl, okay? She's mean, she's vicious, and she knows what you're trying to do. You're trying to use her platform to better yourself, and she's like, I ain't got time for that. So you have to find out when people are interacting the most in your group, and that should be when you're consistently posting. So for me, Sunday at about this time, all of a sudden all my dark horses are paying attention. I don't know why, but that's when they're paying attention. So when I really want people to see something, that's when I do it. Pretty much no one sees my new release post on Wednesdays. No one. So find out when your group is most hopping. When is the party going on? And that's when you should be utilizing. The other part that I really wanted to touch on is this should be a safe, consistent space. This should be a safe place for you, and it should be a safe place for all of them. And I promise when you create that safe place, people want to be a part of that. They want that magic juju, and so they're going to buy it because they want to feel the way that you feel, but what you feel in them has to be genuine. The other thing that Megan mentioned that I had written down on my hodgepodge piece of paper here. I do training and development for a living. This is shameful. Is knowing when to post on your personal social media. This is a soft spot for me. I struggle with, okay, let me back up. I have a ton of, I have a rather large, for me or for the average person, amount of social media friends. I don't know where they came from. I don't know why they're there. When I post things about our lives or our situations, I get hundreds of likes and comments, and that's not me bragging. It's just a weird thing. I don't know where it happened. And so a lot of the girls on my team said, well, you have a ton of friends. Okay. Facebook friends and real friends are not the same thing, my buddies, right? And so I, just like you, get nervous about posting my personal, or posting Zaya on my personal page. I am trigger shy when it comes to that. And I'm not really trigger shy about much, so that's kind of shocking. I'm not trigger shy about posting it in my Instagram, my personal Instagram on my stories, because that disappears after 24 hours. So if it's really terrible, then it just goes away and it's like it never happened. And I just don't have to click on it. And then I don't know who saw it and who didn't see it. So I utilize my personal social media, but I do it in small doses. On my Instagram personal page, I use the story feature, and I use it a lot. I use it for this and that. I post two things side by side, and people click, I make a little poll. It helps me see what people like, where my personal friends gravitate towards certain things. And then I take that information that I gain from my Instagram and I use it in my VIP group. You have to treat this like a job, okay? Because it is your job. You want to make money at something. You don't just show up and say, hey, I'm here for the cash, right? So you have to dress the part. If you're not wearing Zaya, girl, you're missing out. So go put some on. 2, if I showed up to my job and just said, you know, give me, you're not going to get anything out of that. This is the easiest money I've ever made. It's not hard. This isn't something that I find hard, but I do find that you have to be consistent. So the second part of that to using my personal Instagram is I don't post a ton on my personal Facebook page, which is where I have the most following. So you're like, why wouldn't you do that? Because I too am human and I'm worried about turning people off from other things because I'm another person selling something. So I do it in small doses. I do it when I'm doing a giveaway. I post about it. I do it when our new releases are just like so freaking amazing. And then I do it when I'm sharing something, guess what, personal about me. So I posted a post just yesterday of me and myself in our Zaya swimsuit with my kids in the pool. Last summer, the summer before that, you wouldn't have caught me dead in a pool, let alone with my children, right? And what I posted about was about saying yes to the things that scare you, saying yes to being brave, saying yes to getting in the pool, saying yes to Zaya, saying yes to all the things that you're like, no, I want to say no to that, but then you don't, and it's really rewarding. I post those kinds of things on my social media because I'm making a personal connection with the people that know and love me on my personal page, plus I'm throwing in a little bit of a sprinkle about Zaya. It's not about me selling something to them. It's about how Zaya makes me feel. And so if you can take how Zaya makes you feel and funnel that into why people love you on your personal page, now you've like doubled up. It's a double whammy. People will ask you questions. I don't want to guarantee it because I don't want like the lynch mob coming after me, but I can almost guarantee that if you create a personal story, a connection to Zaya, and you post it on your personal page, someone's going to ask you about it. The last couple of thoughts that I have is it's okay if people ignore you. They're behind a computer screen. It's okay. They're not your friends. We're your friends. Also behind computer screens, ironically enough. But it's okay if someone doesn't say yes to you. It's okay if you feel like they're not in your group because they are. There are people paying attention to you. So don't let that deter you. But if you're going to not utilize parties, you have to utilize the community, and how you create that is up to you. How you funnel yourself through that community is up to you. But if you're not willing to post yourself, if you're not willing to be a little bit brave, no one's going to do that with you, right? This is about creating, remember, a consistent, safe community for your people. My final 2 tips here is make your customers feel loved. Send them handwritten notes. Hey, guess what? You have their address in your back office. I'm just saying. I sent, y'all, my hand hurt after this. I got off this train for a little bit. I sent handwritten thank you notes to people for buying Zaya that they had bought months ago with a free shipping on me. And do you know how many orders that generated? Quite a few, enough to take me to Punta Cana. So if you are treating the people that you've created a community with a little bit of an extra mile, what's a thank you card cost you? I don't know, 50 cents, right? And a stamp. You're now creating a customer service experience that they can't get at Lululemon, that they can't get at Nike. Nike's sending them emails, which is really nice, right? But there is nothing better, y'all, if you're not with me, then we can't be friends, than going to your mailbox and pulling out something that is hand addressed to you that is not a freaking bill, okay? We get a lot of bills around here. And when I get to my mailbox and it's something for me that's handwritten to me, I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. And so it makes you feel special and loved when the U.S. Post Service brings you something really special. That's going to create recurring customers. So your group is what it is. Get them in there by sharing those personal time or that personal self side with you. And we all have something, okay? You all have something that other people need to hear that will make them feel not alone. That's how you create the community. But then create customer service. Be your own boss. Treat your customers how good would you feel getting a note card in the mail? Probably pretty good. And you're going to be like, well, I want to buy more from her. And not because I need more leggings, or not because I can't go down the street and get it from Nike, but because I want to support her, because I'm a part of her community, and her community rocks, and she rocks, and I want to feel the way she's feeling, and I want to look the way that she looks in those clothes. And she thought about me enough to send me a note card. It is the simplest thing that you can do. And if you don't get behind, it's actually really easy. Like if you do it as soon as someone orders something, and I'm talking every single time, don't just do it once. Do it again. And the note doesn't have to be, hey, thanks for your Zaya order. It could be, hey, Natalie, I saw you on Facebook the other day and your hair looked friggin' banging, okay? It can be something that has nothing to do. Remember, it's not always about the money. It's not always about selling. 100% about the community that you create, and then you don't need parties. Are parties good? For sure. I've had success with them, but they really, really, really stress me out. And then the last thing that I'm just gonna leave you here with as I head on out of here before my husband leaves me forever. This is your job, but this is your story. Zaya is 100% much more than a pair of leggings. And if you can create a way to consistently and safely in your community share your story that's not shoving something down someone's throat, you will be shocked at who comes out of the woodwork to buy these leggings from you. It may not happen in the first month. It may not happen in the second month. Heck, I don't know what month is. I'm 9 months into this, and my best friend, who's been my best friend, I'm going to tell y'all this because I think it's important. She's been my best friend since we were 15 years old, okay? So for the last 16 years, I came to her. By the way, my son, my youngest son, was in the hospital. He has a heart condition. Our lives were falling apart. Like literally, my husband lost his job. Like if you can imagine it, it was happening. My 16-month-old cardiologist calls us and says, hey, your kid's heart's not working. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, that's casual. We are in the hospital. She is in the hospital. And I was very hesitant to even say the word Zaya to her. And I was like, hey, let me tell you about this stuff I'm doing. And she was like, oh, okay. Best friend. I mean, I'm talking, this girl would probably literally get hit by a train for me. And she said, thanks, but no thanks. And I was like, ooh, never sharing that personally again, right? Because the person who I hold probably closer to me than my husband had no interest. Zero. Zip. None. Nada. Okay, well, fun fact, Amanda is having a baby that she wasn't quite sure she would ever have. And about 2 months ago, her body's changed a little bit. Guess what she came asking for? Zaya. Because now we have something different to talk about. Now we have a shared story of us both being moms. And she was like, all right, what is that? I was about to order some Under Armour, but tell me about Zaya's X, Y, and Z. That girl spent more money on Zaya the last 6 weeks that I've been literally begging for her, or in my heart, you know, not out loud because I didn't want her to judge me. I thought, this, you know, you're buying all this stuff. Why aren't you buying it from me? We're best friends. We've been best friends for 15 years. So if the people closest to you are not buying Zaya, that's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Don't let it hurt your feelings, and don't take it personally, because there will come a time where something that we have, something releases, or something happens in their life where all of a sudden Zaya sounds pretty great to them too. So don't let that be anything that tells you that you're not good enough, that you're not doing the right thing, that this isn't for you, your family doesn't support it. It's because you're lying to yourself. That's really great. But my 15, like literally, we might as well be sister wives, didn't want to buy this for me. And I thought, that's really hurtful. Like, oh, well, if I can't even sell to my very best friend, like she didn't even sympathy buy. Okay. She wasn't like, okay, Melissa, I'm going to buy your leggings. She was like, no. Okay. My kid was in the hospital and we weren't sure he was ever leaving, and she still didn't want to buy them. Don't let that deter you. Don't let that make your business feel worthless. Don't let that make you feel worthless. Just keep going. And that's the biggest thing that I can tell you, especially if you aren't going to do parties, is be consistent, create your community, and never, ever, 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 ever stop until you're ready to do so. So that's all I got.
That was awesome. Thanks, Melissa. Those were lots of good takeaways. Okay. Allison Kelly. I kept
the cussing to a minimum, Natalie, so you're welcome.
Yes, you did. Good job. Okay, Allison Kelly, where is she? I hope she's on here. Allison. Okay, she must not be on. Tori.
And in case you need to feel loved.
What was that? Oh, is Tori on or Amy? Any other ladies? Tori, Amy, I'm not sure.
Tori had that supper club. I don't think it's over yet.
Yeah, she might not be quite done yet. Amy Lavelle? Maybe she's on, maybe she's not. I don't know. Okay, well, I don't think they're on. So that was a really great call.
Oh my God, I do have a puppy too. This puppy right here, by the way, that hashtag Zaya paid for, oh gosh. This is Parker, our middle son. Yes, I have a son with a heart problem, and then I have a son who's autistic. And so this is Parker's service dog, which Zaya will help us pay to get her trained. I know.
Cute. That's awesome. Oh. Okay, I think that's it. So I'm going to end the call. I'm going to record this and upload this to Zaya Life. That was some really great information. Hopefully you guys can use it if you're tired of doing parties. So let's use those VIP groups. All right, you guys have a good Sunday night. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.